How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Z Garage. I'm Josh as always, and this week we're putting a bunch of body panels back on the car. I don't know if you can see right there-ish is my front bumper. I've got my fenders over there. I think you can see them in the corner. And then on top of the car, we got another package from Japan. That is my rear over fenders. So they're the 50th anniversary editions. All of these, additional body kits I got from Z Spirit Imports. Super great guy, Dave. I love to, order stuff for him. And of course, Yoshida makes really, really high quality products. I'll go ahead and show you them, of course, if you haven't seen them yet. But they are just super high quality. They look so good. So I want to go ahead and get everything on, mainly because I need to start mocking up the intercooler piping. That is going to dictate where the intake goes, since we need to get that welded. But I want to make sure that the intercooler that I have is going to fit in like the opening mouth of that bumper. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in, see if I need to order any more intercooler pipes, which is possible. I shouldn't, but fingers crossed that we've got plenty of time if I do need to. And then of course getting the headlights situated with the fenders, make sure that they're square and the gapping is good. But yeah, I'm super excited because we're gonna make a ton of visual progress on this Z this week. I don't think it's gonna stay completely together forever. I think I'm gonna have to take all the parts back off just so I can keep doing some work on the interior here. But I'm excited. I think it's gonna look really cool when we're done. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. All right, guys, I know this camera doesn't have the widest angle, but just look at how good this is coming out. Just look at the quality and the fitment of these pieces. So this is the OEM fender, but that is the aftermarket hood, and that is an aftermarket bumper, and everything here is so close to lining up, and I haven't even adjusted anything. This line here, super straight. That line there, really straight. So all this is looking really, really good. I can't wait for this to all be one color. I'm so excited for it. This front bumper does come with another lip. It's over there. And it wraps around the fender and then into the fender well here. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that mocked up here anytime soon, just because I don't have the mounting hardware for it. But that's gonna go ahead and tie in those lower pieces right there. So that's gonna look really cool. Everything else here is turning out really, really good. Coming down here, so let's see, I had to actually remove, if you recognize, that's the front bash bar. And it normally fits, if you look where the turn signal is right there, it normally fits right across here. But because of the way that this has the cutout here for the intercooler, it doesn't fit. This goes in too far and it hits it. So I had to remove it, and I left, if you can see, there's the hydraulic piston, and then there's the plate that bolted onto. So there's not tons of room in here. This is a pretty pointy bumper. It kind of comes down really narrow. So even if I cut that, I'd be leaving, like a really thin strip of metal if I really wanted to make that one work. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and make up a custom solution, because I really don't want to, hit something and then have it, break my radiators and keep going further back into the car, at least without a little bit of resistance. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that in the background, because it's not something that I'm just gonna knock out in one weekend. But yeah, this is looking really, really good. I'm super, super happy with these bumpers. Like I said, I got these imported from Z Spirit. They used to be KPI, but now they're Z Spirit. And these the bumper, the hood, the over fenders that I have, and then eventually the rear bumper that's coming in soon, they are all from Yoshida-san in Japan, and they are just so high quality. They look so, so good. Like, I've gotten, fiberglass and FRP parts before from eBay, and they're just usually so bad. They're warped and they don't fit. But the quality and fitment on these pieces is just incredible. It is reflected in the price. These are pretty expensive. The shipping is almost doubling the cost once you kind of get these shipped into the United States. But I think in terms of look and fitment, there is absolutely nothing better. So these are really, really good. I'm super happy with how this is coming out. I looked at the intercooler and I realized that what I have here is just too tall. What I really want is a flush intercooler to sit right here in this little opening, and my intercooler is too tall for that. I might be able to make it fit and then block off like the bottom third of it, but I think I would rather just get an appropriately sized intercooler. This is also much larger for what I actually need. I just got it because it was cheap and it looked big and cool. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a smaller one that fits perfectly perpendicular in here, so perfectly flat. And then when we have the under tray in, that'll still allow air to vent properly through our radiators, so we should be good there. I might utilize these brake ducts in the future, but I think I might end up blocking them off for the time being, you know, like with a grate and then something behind them. But we'll see how that turns out, just because I want to make sure that we're getting proper airflow to places. Actually, I'm going to have the oil cooler on that side, so I might leave that one open. But yeah, so I think I'm going to get a different intercooler. I think it's going to be matte black. I think that would look really good, white on black. Have a really nice look here. And hopefully that turns out really well. So I don't really know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and look around a little bit more, make sure everything is lining up properly, see if I need to modify anything. But I'm super happy with this. I'm going to start getting some silicone pipes in here, or aluminum pipes with silicone joiners, and trying to mock up the path for that, because I want to make sure that I have everything that I need. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright guys, so after I filmed that last clip, I asked myself, what would my intercooler look like if it was here, you know, because I was going to start putting in the piping, and it actually came out really good. We're, you know, cutting off, you know, a good couple inches on the bottom and on the top, but that's okay. We still have a majority of it exposed here. The way I have it oriented is with the inlet outlet right there on the bottom, which actually works out really well, because as it tapers towards the top, we get a little bit more room around where those pistons for the bumper bash bar were. So this is actually looking really good. I think we're gonna go ahead and use this orientation. The bottom of it here, we might have to cut those nubs off, but the bottom of it will be covered up by that lower under tray. So that'll be perfect. I think we'll go ahead and make some brackets that kind of go off that bash bar piece, and then we'll probably use that, you know, half for bash bar and then half for mounting this intercooler. So I think this is the direction I'm going to go for now. Obviously I can change this in the future, but this just means that I don't have to buy another intercooler. And of course, it looks really good. So I'm happy with it. See if we can get a better view of what it's looking like underneath. So you can see there's not tons of room up there, but we're definitely making it between everything that we need. So looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and continue on this route, get some more pipes in here, and see how it turns out. All right guys, making some good progress on the intercooler piping. What I went ahead and did is kind of get the intercooler where I wanted it to be. It's held up with some ratchet straps right now, just kind of along right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and make a plate that goes up and then across and over, and then also folds back for these guys to tap into here. So we'll go ahead and get some good mounting points for the intercooler. But yeah, the intercooler is looking really good. I put the blow-off valve right here. It's not ideal. I don't really want debris getting into that little port right there. But I don't really know if there's a better place to put it. If I have my intake coming down right here, you can, well, maybe you can see. You can see there is the exit through the fender of the pipe going up to it, and we really don't have tons of room for a blow-off valve there. So it's going to be there for at least the time being. I might reorient it so that the, you know, if I put it forward, the issue is that the brake duct is going to feed dust and stuff right into it. But it's kind of tilted up right now, which means it's going to be collecting stuff down underneath. So I guess that just means every time I drive it, I have to just let off the throttle so it blows everything out. But yeah, so that might change. We'll figure that out eventually if we need to do any changes. Let's see down here. All right, so if you can see down there is where the turbo outlet, the little elbow that I have coming off is. It is a 2.5 inch flange right there, so it's a perfect made up for a silicone hose. We are a little bit close on that hole that I have in the fender. So if we come over here, you can see I'm just gonna have to cut it back a little bit before we can get another 90 to come out of there. So we're gonna probably have a small piece of tube between that silicone coupler and then another 90 degree. All the pipes that I have are like this, so they're kind of a large bend radius, and I need something a little bit tighter to fit in there. We just don't quite have the room to get a tighter bend in. If I can get that as one big silicone piece, that'd be nice. I'll look for that, but I don't know if they make it. I mean, I'm sure somebody does. If I can find it, that's going to be the question. And then, of course, I don't have this completely piped in yet, but you can see we're just going to go down over into here and then into the intercooler. So I think this is going to be a pretty simple, straightforward setup where we go out of the turbo, through the intercooler, we've got a blow-off valve, and then right back up into the throttle body. So I think this is looking really good, guys. I'm pretty happy with how it's set up. I think I'm going to need to order some extra pieces or just rearrange kind of the stuff that I have. I still have this pipe here, big bend radius, that pipe there, big bend radius, and then this straight here, so I can end up cutting this straight to make some pieces as well. This one is also pretty loosely fit. I need a longer section. It is kind of just hanging by a thread basically, because it's not quite long enough. So we'll have to figure that one out as well. Might need another section in there to push it out. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how this setup is going. I went ahead and took some scans of all this. Hopefully I can go ahead and make a good bracket for it that fits. So yeah, I don't really know what's gonna go on next. I'm just gonna keep putting pieces on. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and unbox the rear over fenders, because I can't really do too much here. I need to go ahead and probably wait for some parts and or figure out some other stuff. So let's go ahead and unbox the over fenders and see how they came out. All right guys, so here is the driver's side over fender. You can see it's just an over fender. If we flip it around, it's got the, let's see if I can position this for you guys. It's got the cool Yoshida logo on it in the fiberglass itself. So I always appreciate seeing that. You can see it's up on my hood right there as well. Looks really cool. I fit this one on, driver's side, fits phenomenally. It's like almost perfect. Small tiny details every once in a while that you need to go ahead and clean up, but overall it is just a really good fit. The passenger side is a little bit different, and I think it's because, well, I'm not sure actually. This section right here has a pretty large gap, and I don't know if it's because of the fuel door or not. Also, this side of the car I know for sure has had body work. You can see right there is like some filler or something that's cracked out. So I know that this side of the car has definitely been worked on, and that could be one of the reasons for this not lining up very well. I might end up probably going to have to trim this back just a little bit to make it sit a little more flush right here, because you can see there's gap on top and on bottom. So this is the high point. But I am not too worried about that. That should be a fairly easy thing. You know, we're gonna have to go ahead and do a little bit of body work to these anyways to make them perfectly fit. And then I need to put on my side skirts and see how it lines up with that. That will be interesting. But yeah, so these are looking really good. I think I'm pretty happy with them. Like I said, the other side is almost perfect. Like it could probably just be put on there with some sticky tape and then call it a day. So yeah, I'm very happy with these. I think I ran out of things to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on some more stuff, and then I'll kind of update you guys after that. All right, guys, I don't exactly remember where we left off because it's been a couple days. I went ahead and ordered some things for the Z. So I ordered up this 3.5 inch 90-degree elbow here so that we can start mocking up our intake. I went ahead and put it in, and I just didn't really like how it was sitting. And so the more that I kind of finagled with this, I realized I really want the throttle body to kind of sit right there where I have it precariously taped, where it's at about a 45-degree angle. So I'll either chop that 90 in half, or I'll go ahead and find a 45. But I really like the position right here because it's going to keep the throttle close enough to the rest of the intake itself so we don't have this really huge snout coming out here, as well as I want to maintain my stock throttle cable if I can, just because it's going to make it easier to, you know, kind of integrate everything on the you know, in the long term. So I would appreciate if we can use that still. Not a requirement, but keeping this shorter would be nice. Having it right here clears all of the hood and everything, so that's good. I will need to go ahead and get a 45 adapter for silicone to here because I don't have any 45s. I think I only have 90s. So that's going to be an additional piece. But the biggest thing in our, the biggest hurdle for this is that this coolant hose is really in the way of where the throttle wants to be. It really wants to be just a little bit over to the side here. And this is getting in the way. So unfortunately, I think we may have to go ahead and ditch the HPS silicone hoses, which I didn't want to do because these are nice stock hoses. So if I need a replacement, I can just get one really fast. A lot of parts stores have them or have them on quick order. So if I can, I will keep at least this one. I've got to move that one somehow, but we don't have a fan shroud here anymore, which is why it kind of bends out like that. So we really can go over this way without any issues. So that is going to be something we are working on. But other than that, I think that we are on a good path here. I'm working on the engine wiring right now, so we'll be seeing that here in the near future. Obviously, I'll show that before I show the car starting up because that is, you know, next on the bucket list. But I am working on that in parallel to all of this.
I did get the bracket on order for the front intercooler to help it have a nice mounting place here. I went ahead and also ordered a bar to use as a bash bar. Not that it's going to be super strong, it's just going to add a little bit more rigidity. The front of the car is just such a pointy little area here that really much does not fit. So we're going to have to go ahead and mock that up, make sure that everything fits. But I think it's going to come out really nicely. And it's going to be on a budget too. I think the whole thing was like, I think it was like 80 for the bent piece of sheet metal here, and then like another 50 for the actual round tube. So pretty good in my opinion in terms of a custom bash bar. So I'm excited about that. Let's go ahead and jump over here because I got some other cool stuff in the mail. And we got this brand new drive shaft. So this is a Shaftmasters drive shaft. I know I've mentioned them before, but you can just contact them, say, hey, I need an aluminum drive shaft. This is what transmission it's from. This is what differential it's going to, and they will just build it for you. So in total, this one came out to $470, I believe. That was the price for a custom 3-inch aluminum. They get cheaper if you do steel, and they get more expensive if you go to 3.5-inch. I thought about, I considered doing a 3.5-inch, but I actually don't know how much clearance we have with everything here. So 3-inch is going to be fine for what we need. But yeah, so this is looking really good. We'll go ahead and install that probably next week, just because I don't have the time to do it right now. But once we get this in, then the car, in my opinion, will be a roller because the engine will be connected to the rear wheels. So we'll be able to put it in gear and make sure it doesn't roll away on us, other than just, pulling the handbrake. So I'm super excited about this. This is looking really good. And yeah, I think that is almost it for the episode. So let's go ahead and film an outro. All right, guys, I think that is going to be it for this episode. We made tons of progress this week. The car is just becoming more and more complete, and I absolutely love it. I love how the front bumper and the hood look together. The new headlights look really, really cool. The over fenders looking absolutely mint. So I'm super excited for this, guys. I think in the next 2 weeks, if we can get the wiring harness done and the intake kind of sorted and figured out, we're going to be able to get the car running. And if we can get this running in the next 2 weeks, my plan after that is to jump right into bodywork because I want to go ahead and start getting the car cosmetically ready for Branson Z-Fest. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is instead of painting the car before Branson Z-Fest, I'm going to go ahead and vinyl wrap it. Mainly because it's going to be a much quicker process for roughly the same kind of outcome. But I want to go ahead and do it quicker because if we can get a couple weeks, there's a few things that I really want to do. One is just, I'm going to get it tuned either way, but I want to go ahead and get it tuned, kind of not give myself too much of a tight time frame for that to get it done. I want to drive it around, really shake it down. And then the third thing, which is not a necessity, but I really want to do it, is to get AC working in this car. So because I moved my turbo up where the AC compressor normally sits, I'm going to push the AC compressor down. I'm going to be using a Z32 AC compressor bracket and a Z32 AC compressor, which is the ribbed belt that my harmonic balancer has, so that'll be perfect. It was a bit hard finding a Z32 AC compressor bracket, so that was interesting. I guess or not the bracket, the actual compressor itself. I guess they just don't really make them anymore. So I did get a used one. Hopefully that works fine. But I am going to need some custom lines, so I'm going to have to take it to an AC shop. And the reason I want AC is, one, it's a drive at the very beginning of June through Texas, pretty much is like the whole way, and then into Missouri for Branson Z-Fest. And then on Branson Z-Fest during those days, there's multiple cruises that you can sign up for, and I sign up for one every single day, and they're usually like 3 to 4 hours each. So if I can have some AC, that would be really, really nice. So fingers crossed we can get that done. I want to go ahead and be able to shake it down, so having it done a little bit early will be nice as well. And as you guys will also be able to see it once it's, almost there. So I'm looking forward to it, guys. I think I'm going to start filming next week's video right now. It's Friday today, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this video later tonight for you guys tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and start working on stuff. I'm going to start working on just finalizing the intercooler. I bought a bead roller, so that'll be fun to go ahead and start rolling the actual beads of the intake pipes instead of, I don't know if you guys remember the first time I did it, I kind of just hit it with like a punch to kind of make it ridged out a little bit. But now we're going to actually have real rolled beads, so that'll be cool. And then, just finishing up all the little bits around here. So that'll be really, really cool. And of course, the wiring harness is like the #1 thing that I want to get done
next weekend for you guys. So I'm looking forward to it, guys. Appreciate the continued support as always. And if you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.